Welcome to Cheap Seats, episode 24. 24, boys. All right, let's kick it off. Give me some number 24s. Who's out there?
Frolov.
Wow.
Frolov, wow.
What?
Wow, I'll take no one cares for 200, Alex. Okay.
Goodness.
Wow, I'm drawing a blank here. This is kind of pathetic.
Frolov?
Marshawn Lynch.
He's a baseball number. Yeah, you could do a pretty good lineup if you go guy named Ken Griffey Jr.
I was just going to
Oh
say.
my
is it
God.
Griffey?
It's staring at me on my wall. My God. Oh my
Annie
God.
Ramirez, Willie Mays, Ricky Henderson, Miggy Cabrera.
Says Frolov. Oh, Lane, that is actually really good. What a way.
Yeah, that's bad.
Good
That's
start.
horrible. Literally
Frolov.
looking at the number 24 on my wall.
Frolov.
Anyways,
Right arm.
welcome back, boys. I'm your host, Jeff
Welcome
Trapp.
back, Jeff.
Back from the dead. Yeah, I was out and down and out with ear infection, folks, and it was a bad one. Outside of Jack Edwards and LeBron James, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. So,
Good Lord.
although they'd probably blame it on the refs if they got it, anyways, both of those guys. But, anyways, good to be back. I got my Biggie Flyers.
Flyers!
On. I'm making my season debut tomorrow night, so figured I'd wear it tonight. Fans are excited, boys are excited. Should be a good night.
No fans in attendance, though, eh? No fans.
Yeah, hard to say with COVID how many we get out at 10:15 on a Thursday, but
So I gotta say something about that jersey. So years ago, the first time that I ever saw that logo, it was on Danny McCursey's golf shirt. And he looks at me and he goes, hey, he says, yeah, Flyers. Points at his logo. He goes, oh, hey, did you take a look at its stinger? Yeah, it's huge. That's what he said to me, and I'm like, holy Danny, you were
Flyer.
oh man.
Jokes.
gotta do the little intros here though. Okay, we got bottom. Is that bottom right? We got. Okay, I don't know where everyone's situated here, but we got Lane, Kidney Stones, Wallace.
Kidney stones.
Beside him, we got Boomer McFarland,
Oh, ugly, gross.
and we
Wow.
got Willie Nelson, who looks like he's on the road again.
Yeah, I am. I'm in the hotel.
Anyways, let's kick it off with the Tap House tip-off. Boomer.
Yeah. So Tap House swear jar there. Had an expensive week. Wilson had a really good week actually. He went in there for $20 himself alone. And me and Wallace each went for $10 a piece. So good for us. More money in the Tap House swear jar there but I don't know what Wilson was on last week. He did pretty well.
I was making up. We were missing Pratsky, so I threw in an extra 5 swears for him.
Oh yeah.
in a row.
That's good. That's good.
I
Way to be responsible.
gave the dill pickle pizza a go. It's pretty good.
Is
At
it?
the top, yeah, they're
It
advertising
looks
that
so
pretty
good.
much.
I just don't have the parts for it. I just don't. I don't know. I don't know.
You know what? There's
I'll be
so
getting
many good options there. It's hard for me to stray away from my regular, well, I guess 6 different kinds that I normally get. So yeah, I'm a pig. It is what it is.
And by the way, Tower donated $2,000 to the United Way.
Yeah, I seen that. Good for them.
So,
Which-
Got to throw a shout out to my company. You know, they came through again. Sauce Power came through at the final hour and donated a large chunk as they usually do. So Mines, I believe, was in there as well.
Yeah, they always pair up and they do that big donation just basically to make sure they get over the hump. So that's really good of them. It's
Yeah.
good to see them still doing that in the community. So right on.
That is awesome. Yeah. Energy, a very big part of that United Way, you'll notice. So
You know, you would think the oil, gas, and energy sector is a big part of where we live, eh? But just, that's a debate for another time, eh?
yes, it is.
yeah, we'll leave it out of the.
I wouldn't even
Keep
call
it
that
out of the cheap seats, man.
I wouldn't call that a debate. I would say right from the bottom line, like
Here
the energy
we
sector
go.
is this area.
Oh no!
Let's just
What do
live
they
with
do?
that.
It's on a
No.
tangent. He's going
No,
off.
I ain't going there. I'll save it. I'll save the heat for another topic.
Love it.
Gonna hit up the ice factory here, boys.
I don't got my cup. Didn't pack him in the bag.
Oh, Wilson's out of town, so he gets the nod there. That's okay.
I am reneging on the trivia question I posed 2 weeks ago because I don't like the question. Where is the payphone in Estevan? Well, apparently there's like 12 of them. And I don't know if some are valid, some of the answers. One was Days Inn. Which is ironic and sponsor. I don't think they have a payphone there.
I think there is one right beside the vending machine when you walk in the door and go to the left, right when you walk in the front door. I think there is one there.
I really feel there was a guy we could have texted to get that answer in about.
Well, there might have been. He might actually sponsor the segment, but why would we want to text him?
That's true.
Wouldn't want to bother him.
No. So yeah, just gotta update how the show's gonna go, boys. We got some banter going on here. We'll talk a little more. But then we're gonna bring the heat. We haven't brought the heat. We'll call it the last, I don't know, month and a half, 2 months, and we're gonna have 3 segments. They're gonna be hot topics, and these 3 guys are gonna each take one, and shit's gonna fly. That's all I can say about that. So, and then we may end it with a trivia segment. I'm not sure if we're doing that or if we drop that later, but
oh no, I got her. We'll do that.
Might hit up Bed Bath & Beyond. Don't know if we're gonna have time. Don't know if we're gonna have time.
Home Depot.
And we'll also introduce later our new thing that the Ice Factory is going to sponsor. It's actually going to be Blackbeard's is going to sponsor it, but they're obviously all part of the same organization.
Love their fries and gravy, boy. Look
And
out.
we'll discuss that after. So yeah, what can you tell me, boys? Big week in sports. We're going to address some of it here in our next segment, but NFL, you guys want to touch on the weekend games?
Who's starting?
I took a dirty Monday bashing. See, at work, we have to obviously we're doing the mask mandatory thing, trying to do the COVID safe and the whole nines. I definitely have a New England Patriots mask that I am wearing, and after that dirty ass beating that was laid out on Sunday by the 49ers, I definitely took it all day to every person I ran into. So that leads me to my rant that's going to be coming up a little bit later on, and I got some shit to say, and I don't care if you like it. I'm just going to get it out there. You got something to fire back on me? You know where I am. Hit me up on Twitter. Let's get after it.
His personal Twitter.
Personal Twitter. I figured out how to use my personal Twitter from the cheap seats. So yeah, I'll use my. Trust me, Pratt. It wasn't as easy as it sounds. I for some reason thought I was always doing it from my personal Twitter, but
it's up in the corner when you do it on your phone. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Other little tidbit. Pretty pumped, boys. Get my stint out in 5 days. Oh mama.
Oh god.
Then are we gonna do the mile inspired by
I'm in for it. Well, the wife, Pratt was talking about his opening game tomorrow night. I had mine on Saturday, goal and assist to start the year, but I definitely paid for it for the next 2 days as I was
goal and assist,
seeing some blood. So let's just say do not play sports with a stint in after a kidney stone surgery. So
I really thought that was some kind of a sexual metaphor there. I didn't know that he actually went and played hockey. Now I'm kind of like, oh boy. Woo.
Oh, and the wife read me the riot act. She's like, "You're an idiot. Don't go." And I'm like, "Well, we're short. I gotta go." Team leaders got to be out there, support the boys, So, yeah, definitely. I'm supposed to be playing tonight, and I'm definitely not there because I don't want to go through that again for 2 days. So, anyway, now I've talked enough.
Well, let me know when it's out, Lane. I said
I'm in for the mile. I'll do it, but I definitely get for sure. I get a 3-minute head start for sure.
We're going to explain that.
I'd chase him down. I'd give him a 3-minute head start in the mile and see who can win, if I can beat him in the end, or just who takes the crown. And it'll be going like DK and Buddha. Like I'm gonna be coming. Right.
It's so funny that the day you brought this up and we talked about this. I had a dream, and all I could imagine was I was like way ahead of you, and I could hear footsteps from miles behind me. and you kept getting closer and closer.
Oh.
It was like that scene in The Cable Guy where he's chasing Matt. Yeah, it's not good.
I am actually a horrible long distance runner. I feel like a mile I can it's almost not long distance enough to really show how bad I am, but
For the record,
I ran in a 5K one time and got a hot start and then sat there and just walked, and then third place would catch up to me, so I run, catch up to first place, walk, third place would catch up, run, catch up to first place, and then start walking again. They are both guys in the race were probably like, what the hell is this guy doing? But I think I can do a mile.
We're going based off of our Estevan Comprehensive School fitness test times. I really don't want to admit what mine was, but Wilson has no problem admitting what his was. It was a rough week whenever that got announced to do that, and I'm just not a. None of you guys answered me when I asked that. Did you guys have to do the pull-up pegs? Did you ever have to do it?
No,
I don't think so.
Oh God!
No.
He called on me. I almost ran away because I knew it was. I couldn't do one. I couldn't do one pull-up on the pegboard.
Oh my!
Hey, if we're gonna videotape this, can we edit it though? Like, we're not gonna sit there and let people watch a 9-minute video of Lane running around the track.
Blowing by Lane a few times.
I was thinking like we get a GoPro and I'll like do like up close like Spike Lee angles of you guys' faces. You know, obviously watching Wilson struggle immensely and Lane running like a stallion. I think that would be really good to get on the account. So yeah. Honestly, I'd love to join in, boys, but I was actually advised by my physiotherapist the other day. He says, "You haven't started running, have you?" I'm like, "No." He goes, "Good." He goes, "Don't do that." He says, "That's one of the worst things you can do for a back injury." I had no idea. I was literally going to start jogging on the treadmill next week. But
that makes sense, though.
Well, yeah.
For the record, the only thing I can picture when this whole thing goes down from old school, Vince Vaughn on the rings with a smoke in his mouth. That'll be me halfway through the mile. Still holding.
I think that's a really exciting event, and I think it's going to bring a kind of a funnier side to this thing. I hope that we can make it happen. So
worth noting,
we still have to do the 2-on-1. We still got to do the 2-on-1 basketball. We still got some other things.
Yeah,
that was created because of the DK Metcalf highlight, right? That's where.
Oh God, that was the most amazing thing I've seen in a long time on a football field. He reached 23 miles per hour running, or was it 27, something like that.
I still can't believe that guy fell to the last pick of the second round. It's almost unreal to me. And I mean, I know he didn't have a great college career, and they basically based it off of that picture of him when he showed up to the combine at like whatever it was, 3.1% body fat. Like, really? This guy is a monster.
That big?
Oh, crap. You should see him without his equipment on.
Well, what is he?
He's the difference.
What is he, like 6'2", 228 and just shredded?
Bigger than that.
I thought 6'4", wasn't he?
Well, maybe he's that tall. I don't know, but he is just, oh man.
He must have worked his ass off to be as good as he is, because the college career doesn't add up, but that combine performance mixed with what he's doing now. Probably Russell Wilson makes a big difference.
Well, the genetics makes a big difference too. I don't care what's going on there. If you don't have that in you already, I don't care what you're doing. You ain't getting there, because that guy is unbelievable. Like, he is a creature, and good for him. Awesome. I like to see it.
6'4", 229. Oh, man, that dude is.
I like seeing stories like that. Honestly, I do. I love seeing wide receivers that are taken later that just hit it big. I love it. So, good for him.
I still say I heard Buda Baker scream when he noticed that he was that close to him behind him.
He stole my line. I know that's what he did. He was running down the sideline, and he looked back, and he goes, ah!
Yeah.
He said he couldn't believe he caught him, chased him down.
No,
he said it on the sidelines. He was mic'd up for that game. It was like it was cool.
He runs the 40 and 4.4.
NFL guys talking about it.
What'd you say, Jeff?
He runs the 40 and 4.4. I think they said Buda.
4.33 was his combine 40.
Was it 4.33?
I looked it up today. 4.33.
No, DK's, not Buddha's.
I'm looking at DK's.
Yeah, Pratt was saying Buddha's.
Oh, Buddha's. Sorry. Well, there you go. Then there's the math, guys. That's how long it takes for a guy like DK Metcalf to catch a corner that runs a 4.4. That's sick.
Yeah. No,
he had at the draft, he had 1.6% body fat, boys.
It was 1.6?
Yeah. At the
on
draft,
par
he was
unbelievable.
6'3", 228 with 1.6% body fat.
Well,
What are you, Wills? You must be rocking what, 3?
no,
I have
Wilson's
never
probably
ever
6.
done that. I have no idea even how to test.
Wilson's probably 6. or
Everyone
something
list their
like
body
that.
fat. No.
72.
27.
72.
Oh,
Is that a number? I don't like that sounds
Goodness.
legit.
the guy doesn't
Oh,
even
bro.
need weight in the back of his truck in the winter, boys. It just takes the ice and goes. Sorry, Lane. I'm the second biggest guy here, so I'm allowed.
Worth mentioning, I guess. I don't know if you guys have much to say. Yeah, Andy Dalton taking a hit
Nah.
That
there.
was the dirtiest
Oh,
fucking
man.
thing I've seen on a football field in a long time.
No suspension.
I don't know.
Oh, Wilson. He didn't know what state he was in.
Yeah,
Don't
that's
don't even worry about that.
like
It's the whole hit.
I don't know how dirty it was. Like, I mean, yes, eject him, all that. He shouldn't have done it, but I mean, I've seen much worse. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
By
I don't know,
perfect.
man. That was pretty freaking high speed and straight to the head.
My whole thing is he sees him go down to do the slide, protecting himself, and he comes in there barreling, and he launches at him. He is meaning to hit him in the
It's
head.
dirty, but I've seen worse, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, it's not swinging a helmet at a football player type of dirty, but it's up there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
it's
Do you
up
know?
there.
Do you know what the biggest disgrace of Sunday was? The Falcons again.
No, I loved
why
it.
are
I
we
loved it.
Why are we surprised anymore? Seriously.
Todd Gurley going into the end zone, and then Matthew Stafford pulling off another fourth quarter comeback. Minute left, no timeouts. Matthew Stafford, he is
Underrated.
Green Bay's division. I've watched him his whole career. I'm turning into a legit Matthew Stafford fan.
Why are you
I've loved
calling
him.
him Matthew? Like,
Him
is it
and,
not Matt Stafford? Like, I've never heard you use anybody's full name, and you're calling him Matthew Stafford. What the? Like,
That's
come on.
respect. That's respect.
That's exactly it, Lane.
That's my quarterback.
That is
That's my
respect.
Call me
quarterback.
Jeffrey.
But hey, here's an interesting thing, and I believe it's 500,000 for Gurley. If he scores 13 TDs,
Yeah.
it's $500,000. So
He
let's
did that on purpose.
see what he ends up at.
I've never seen so many opposing players, and I saw that pic on Twitter, signaling touchdown as Gurley's on the ground at the
Oh,
goal.
he definitely broke the plane.
Oh,
Like, for sure
absolutely.
he did. It was 3/4 of the ball. Like,
Mad quick shout out to Cody Parkey, you absolute piece of shit that screwed me out of a 4-game point spread. Oh, you dirty rotten. Oh.
That was a better's nightmare there.
Oh.
That extra point.
But in all fairness, it was a good week for me. I did cash on a combo play, and I did cash on Bet365. So good stuff. Good stuff. And Housey, this is for you, buddy. Chirped me, texted me at 11:05, yipping me about picking Carolina to cover the Saints. Oh, Drew and Peyton aren't losing to the Panthers. I never said they were going to lose. They just weren't going to cover the spread. And I chirped you, and I beat you all game, and you took it like a champ. Love it.
so
It's good
both
stuff.
were correct in this sense, and that can happen with spread games, ladies and gentlemen.
Indeed.
yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
pick spreads and upsets. You can't pick spreads and upsets. That's why the spreads are there, eh, guys?
That's correct. Well
We're
done.
not going there. No. Something off topic. I just noticed. I don't know why I wanted to bring this up. I wanted to ask you three because this is golf related.
Oh, here we go.
If you're putting from the fringe,
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Like,
are you allowed to have?
actually, are we talking-
Are you allowed to have the pin tended?
No.
Absolutely not.
You can.
With the rule change, I think you might be able to,
No.
though, because you can have the pin in.
Always have, and we play this as a group, right?
Who does?
Anytime I've golfed, you can't tend it if you're putting from the fringe.
100% you can't. That's
In all
you're
fairness,
correct.
in
You're
all fairness, I actually never get anyone to tend the pin. But that's me. So
In all fairness.
And you know what, Lane? You being the short, well, no, you're not the shortest.
Hey, hang on. Let's just. So Pratt,
I want to hear
you're
it from Pratt,
positive.
too.
You're positive that this isn't because of a new rule that since the pin thing.
I was literally, I'm in bed watching Facebook Watch, watching political videos, and all of a sudden in sneaks in there John Daly at the British Open in like 90, what? I don't know when that was.
7.
Constantino Roca, remember the long putt he sank? He was on the fringe putting, and they tended the pin.
So that's what you're basing this off of?
So you're really going to make me look this rule up online. You came at me with not even looking at the rule up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I watched it happen. So
Oh, I know, but
This was 25 years ago, Jeff.
a lot's changed. We dropped the ball from our knees now.
What are you? What?
check it out.
No,
I've always
I
thought-
will because I would have bet money the other like that you couldn't.
I've never played that you could.
I
tend
would
to.
have too. I would have bet money that you couldn't. You would have fleeced me, Jeff.
Okay.
And thank you for not.
No, I'm just, it definitely was a rule like 96 whenever Daly won that. But interesting. I thought that I wanted to bring that up because you guys are borderline golfers. So
Yeah, we've hit a ball or two.
Oh my.
okay. Anything else to add, boys? And tap house tip off, opening banter. No.
Let's get after this World Series thing because I'm stewing.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah. Hell
Biggest
yeah.
news in sports, boys. I'll just lay the groundwork. LA Dodgers last night, which was Tuesday, win whilst rocking the jersey. We're in the World Series over the Tampa Bay Rays in 6 games. But the story within the story, we all know what that is, and Boomer's going to touch on it. So I'm going to throw it to you, Boomer, to discuss the worst decision ever made.
No, I'm not saying it was the worst decision ever made. I understand that it's a story within a story, and obviously anybody that was watching the game gets where I'm coming from. Maybe. My problem with it is basically right from the start, kind of what I picture as not, I wouldn't call it old school baseball, but I would consider saying that analytics now, definitely with the Tampa Bay Rays, has seemingly completely taken over. And I mean, yeah, it's against the Dodgers, so it's probably pretty tough to make a case that they were, that they weren't going to get at Snell at some point during that game. But I believe Blake pitched 5 1/3 innings. I think he was at 73 pitches. Am I right?
Yeah.
And Cash comes out and pulls him. And Snell was visibly angry. He had 2 players coming up that he had excellent success with during the game. And, they pull him out at that point, and I understand the other side of it. One thing that I will say is I read Colin McHugh's tweet about it today, and his thing was, if you're going to pull him there, there's more empirical evidence saying that it's the right time to pull him. I myself have always loved baseball for, watching the chess match essentially between the 2 managers, and almost, some of the managers that rely on that gut feel. When they know, when a guy's got a couple more in him or when a guy's got a few more. Like me, in my mind, 73 pitches doesn't seem like a lot for a number 1 pitcher in the major leagues today. I loved watching Max Scherzer and Verlander and guys like that, put the team on their shoulders and throw more than 100 pitches. That's excellent. And I really love watching the passion that comes from that. And you could see when Cash pulls him, Snell is visibly angry. He actually screams, fuck, or something along those lines. And I really, again, it's the Dodgers, and, they are that team. I watched Atlanta kind of leave a pitcher in too long against them. But at the same time, I think Blake Snell was dealing completely. He was pitching a hell of a game in the World Series, Game 6, and for Cash to come out there and pull him, I mean, hindsight's always 20/20, but I didn't like it. I thought Snell was really handling himself very well out there as a young pitcher in the World Series, and I really wanted to see Game 7 too. I'm a fan also, but at the same time, I didn't agree with the call.
Aren't you disgusted?
I got a question on and here's where analytics, and we posted it on Twitter today on pro or anti-analytics. I'm definitely a pro analytics guy. Here's my question in this situation, and it kind of goes across the whole thing. I don't think it should be 100% decision-making, and the sad part is that's what this was. They had decided Snell was coming out. a day before this game even started.
For sure they did,
And
because that's how they.
that's the weird part about this that I think pisses everyone off. Like if I was a Rays fan, I'd be blowing a gasket. But anyway, how far do they actually go on analytics? He has this whole thing about going through that part of the rotation for the third, or that part of the order for the third time after the sixth inning, and he's got a 13 point something ERA. He's got all the analytics that say yank him. But where's the analytics on when he's dealing like that and when he's at 70 pitches and like how far does it go when he's
on the manager? The manager needs to be able to read his pitcher in that moment.
Mookie struggling, like, and who's to say, like, even in the NFL for this analytics shit, like when they're going against, but what about the game where the cornerback's or the analytics doesn't know, like, he's got a bummed ankle or a bum knee and they got to make that drive? Like, you know what I mean? Where's
analytics are for a season. They're not for game 6 of a World Series. Throw them out.
No,
I agree.
You roll with the guys that got you there. You throw the stats out the window and you let it go.
Next 3 guys are 0 for 6 with 3
not for the big game moments. No matter if it's in the first game of the regular season, at the end of the game, it's not for those decisions. That's about momentum, and the Rays just took it way too far. They took it.
But I will say this: there is some validity to seeing the stat where Blake Snell's third time through a batting order, the batting average increases by 0.7 or 0.8%, right? Like, I mean, it's
okay, Lane, but I would actually like to see the stat on every pitcher at that point.
Sure, I'm not.
I'm
just saying this scenario, right? Like,
yeah, no, I get it, and again, like, I'm just trying to say, you know, from my standpoint and seeing it, and how much I enjoy watching, you know, the reason that a manager throws that guy into the on-deck circle, the reason that a manager sticks with that pitcher on the mound for 3 or 4 more pitches, it's something that I really have grown to enjoy, and I love watching that part of the game. And for them to do that and completely take it out of Blake Snell's hands when it really seemed like he was doing what a pitcher needed to do.
It's not like we're talking about Randy Johnson or Greg Maddux. We're talking about Blake Snell here.
Hey, Blaine, how did Randy Johnson or Greg Maddux get their first shot at something like that?
I understand that.
Oh, this is what I'm talking about.
Blake Snell hasn't pitched great this year, right? Like,
it doesn't matter, and
I don't think it matters. But.
And the part about it that I just don't get is where's the analytics on putting Nick Anderson in? Like, what is saying that that's the right move right there? Because it's a righty going against Mookie.
Yep.
And he can't hit lefties. Snell's a lefty. Like, here's analytics on Snell coming out. But what's that going against with Anderson coming in? And so in this case, I get analytics and it can point in one direction, but I actually don't know if you weigh all options and you weigh the decision that they actually ended up making. How does the analytics even point to that answer? Well,
the first thing that, like, the text that I received from another, you know, avid fan of baseball, that was exactly what he said. You're telling me that in that situation, Anderson is a better option than Blake Snell? Really?
And you know what? The Dodgers are rubbing salt in the wound as much as they can. They might not think that they are, but they're making Kevin Cash's life a living hell by saying, "Oh yeah, they finally let us breathe when they took Snell out." And like,
they should.
I agree.
Hey, if you're a manager,
I wish Snell would say that.
Why? If you're a manager, I always look at this: cover your ass. If he leaves Snell in, and there are a couple of hits, no one's going to say, you should have pulled Snell.
Yeah, right.
But now you open yourself up to the chance of pulling a guy who's absolutely dealing. He struck out the next 3 guys 6 times in the game. You're opening yourself up for all the criticism in the world, and there you go. You deserve everything that comes.
You can't fault a manager for managing the same way he has all year.
That's fair. I'll give you that. That's fair.
I don't agree
guys,
with
he's managed that way the whole year. He relied on his bullpen. His starting staff did not go late into games. He relied on his bullpen. It was a good bullpen.
That's a fair point, but at the
Chance.
same time, it's Game 6 of the fucking World Series. That's a fair point, and I know that they're the team
I got a question here. Who's the Dodgers closer?
Nobody
right now.
knows.
Julio Urias.
Yeah.
Who is it though? Who is the regular season?
Julio Urias. Kenley Jansen.
Jesus.
Yes.
Kenley Jansen's career is over.
But where I'm going with this is they went with Jansen he's the closer. But what did they do to close out that game? They took the momentum from the eighth inning and closed the game out because that wasn't an analytics call, I don't think.
What did they do to eliminate the Braves? Well, who was the pitcher that ended the game?
In Game 7?
Who was pitching to end the game against the Braves?
Urias. Oh, was
Urias. Urias.
Well,
right?
Trust me, the guy, when he was in the eighth, you just could tell this was over. They weren't hitting him.
Julio Urias is not a starter anymore. He was always a prospect who was going to be a legitimate starter in the major leagues. I think that guy might have found his niche as a multiple inning phenom in the relief role, which is good for him. I get awesome because he actually had some struggles in the beginning of his career, but good for him. And I just want to say, I didn't care which American League team made it to the World Series. I felt like no matter who got there from the NL was going to beat them. Yeah. So I'm happy that came to fruition. I wish it wasn't the fucking Dodgers, but here we are. So
I picked that final, boys.
Yeah, you did, Jeff. I will give you that. You're right. You did.
Kevin Cash reminds me of who coached the Nagano Olympics for Canada when they didn't put Gretzky in the shootout.
Honestly,
Crawford.
Jeff,
Crawford.
The Nagano Olympics to me is just the Nagano, fuck.
Cover your ass and put the best. Do what isn't gonna make
you. Fair. Who did he put in though? He put Sakic, and who were the other Sakic?
He put Ray Bourque in.
Oh yeah, okay, that was
an 890 goal scorer on the bench. Put Gretzky in. If he misses, no one's gonna dispute it.
That's not the wrong call, yeah.
So that's my theory on over-managing, over-coaching, all that crap. So,
quick side point: we were talking about it last night. Arozarena is now the most overdrafted player in fantasy baseball next year.
I said he would be. I knew he would be because this is what happens.
Let's not get off the Dodgers quite yet here.
No, I just
you want to take the reins there, Wilson, on the selling?
Yeah. Well, first of all, the Dodger to all the hardcore Dodger fans, which there's some that are and a lot that are way more than I am.
Oh, there's 7. Get real.
I just mean all over the place. Like the drought since '88, that's pretty awesome. Which kind of segues.
Want to talk about a drought, Wilson? Want to talk?
Oh no, we don't want to talk about them.
Don't even say the word drought.
Some of the commitment here, and I brought it up last night during the game, and I'm just gonna go with the Turner thing on.
Oh God,
the amount you invest into these teams as fans or as players. And then to get the news on Justin Turner testing positive in the 8th, which that whole story is just weird. Or testing positive, and then they found out and told him in the 8th inning, yanked him. Kiki Hernandez came in, and everyone kind of wondered what was going on. He goes to a room to isolate, and then next thing you know, he comes back out and has a mask, then ditches the mask, and he's around everyone. Crazy scene, crazy sequence of events. I had said, it rattled me during the whole thing because Turner is just one of those guys that, he's near the end of his career. He's been kind of in the journeyman mode and then has been a huge part of this team on making this run. He's watched two times out of the last, 4 years, the opposing team celebrate on the field, and then for him to have to sit in a room, and actually Boomer and Pratt were acting like I was being, I don't even know why you guys, I was like, I can't believe it, and then you guys act like I should be just completely forgetting about it, but it sucked so much. The fact that he made the decision to say, fuck this, I'm going out there, goes to show how much they dedicate and how much they appreciate this moment to win a championship with your teammates and everything like that. I think it's crazy that he went out there. Like,
See,
I
there's two things.
I have to answer that question. I mean, I think I stay isolated. I don't walk out.
What?
You've hit your
You're
head.
a joke. There's
an
no
idiot,
way
man.
you're.
And you wouldn't have. And don't say you would have, because you're the most competitive person I know besides me or the other two here. You'd have been out there celebrating, doing cartwheels, running around. Don't feed me your shit.
Wilson, okay.
Here's two things. Justin Turner only went out there because A, he's a free agent. B, he's contemplating retirement. He's not going to be around for many more years. He just said, fuck it. I'm going out there to party with the boys. I want to enjoy this. He knew he was going to get fined. This whole thing about the MLB saying, well, we're going to investigate it and possibly fine him and suspend him. He doesn't give a shit. Fine him, suspend him. He'll just retire. Doesn't give a shit. I'm sorry. It was the right call. And Wilson, don't sit there with that friggin' look.
You would isolate Wilson.
You would not isolate. Grow up. You would not.
You're not like you got the flu and you're like, oh, I'm sick. Because you're not.
You just played.
The damage had been done, Wilson.
Wilson.
Even if he tested positive, he had been around them all. The damage was done, if there was any damage.
You know
what? Been
what?
a false positive.
You know what the worst part about it is? They're going to suspend him. They're going to fine him. They're going to do what they do because at the end of the day, it is the Major League Baseball's responsibility to keep COVID out of that bubble. How did he get it? Guess what? He got it because he was exposed to it in the bubble of the World Series. So, sorry, man. Like, you better fucking believe I'm out there celebrating with my team. And it's not even an argument. It's not even a conversation for me.
Wilson, I can't believe you said you wouldn't be out there celebrating. That is
jeez, man. Like,
farce.
If I tested positive midway through the Classic, if I won the thing, I'd be out there on the 18th green getting the trophy. Like, come on.
Magic Johnson's out there with no mask on.
Yeah!
Come on!
Well, I'm not saying, I mean, what I'm getting at is...
He's got an immune system.
No. I mean, the responsible decision is to actually just stay in the room.
You're not responsible anymore. You literally just won the World Series. I don't care about responsibility.
All bets are off.
Sorry.
Screw it. I'm going to party. I gave up my life for the last however many months to give them a product and go into this bubble, to give them something to play for, and you're going to tell me I can't go party? To hell with that shit. Nope. I can't believe as a Dodgers fan, you're actually saying you should have secluded.
Dustin, we need to have a talk, buddy.
I'm saying that is an extremely tough decision to make.
No, it isn't. Why? No.
You would have had to have
never be there again. In all likelihood, Justin Turner will never be there again unless he signs with the Braves.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's an interesting. It's crazy. Like he knows that he made the decision to say screw it, and he is going to be on the hit list of a lot of people for what he did.
So be it. I'd take it. I wouldn't even care.
Yeah.
He's made enough money. He's made good money, man.
There are so many
statement he made there.
You know what the worst part about it is reading Twitter and reading the comments and reading the activity today. One guy actually said he should be charged with attempted murder. And I was watching this. On Twitter. You know what and I mean, I believe that probably half of these retweets were probably because the guys were like, really? Like, are you kidding me? But you know damn well that there are people out there, these Karens, that were thinking, no, like he probably should be charged with attempted murder. Get the fuck out of here. Come on. Let's drop this already. Oh God. I can't even fathom it. It's a joke.
Grab the reins here. This is getting
all right, boys. That's pretty good. Little that's the most COVID talk we've ever had in the last I don't know.
Oh, don't even no.
Okay. Gentlemen, she is NFL Power Rankings time. Fitting that I introduced Dustin Wilson as Willie Nelson, because were you high when you did these picks, or no? I'm just going to let you have the floor, and
we all
I know
thought he
Boomer
was.
and Lane got a little bit to say on these, so have at her. NFL power rankings.
Okay. Power rankings into week 8. So I said I'd take the lead on this one. I've actually been watching a decent amount of NFL, so believe it or not, I was dead serious about this, guys. So I got my top 5. I'll rattle them off, then I'll shoot back to the top and sort of give my rundown. So number 1, I got Tampa. 2, Kansas City. 3, Pittsburgh. 4, Baltimore. And rounding it out with my boys, Packers at number 5. So going back to Tampa, or going back to number 1, I guess here's my breakdown on this. They have had one of the toughest schedules. They've played some really good teams. What's up there, Lane? Played some good teams. And they're blowing out some of the, like, they're winning these games. They played Chicago and lost. I'm gonna let it slide on the very first game with when they lost to the Saints in the Superdome, based on the fact that it was the first game between Arians and Brady and a very new offense. They were against New Orleans in the Superdome. That's always a tough place to play in. My biggest thing here is I think this team's getting better every single week. And that's the thing. They've added AB, who, I mean, the guy's a nut job, but this offense is completely stacked. I think they're getting better, like I said, between the chemistry of Bruce Arians and the rest of the offense. And the number 1 thing, actually, is their defense is way, way better than what I ever thought it was. This is one of the best defenses in the league. Not the best, but one of the best. Number 2, we got KC. Once again, they've had a bit of a tougher schedule. The reason why I say tougher schedule is more because that's why Pittsburgh and Baltimore are not in this. That's why they've had easy, more on the Pittsburgh side, an easier route to get to their undefeated record at this point. The thing about KC, I think the Bell thing is another thing that makes them kind of look stronger in the end. They're just stacked with weapons on offense. It's crazy how fast they are. They're once again the defending champs that really haven't shown a reason why they should or shouldn't be able to get close to doing the same thing again.
Just hold on a sec. Are we letting you? Am I giving you the floor to go through all 5 of these with some justification first before I absolutely tear you a new one as to why?
Sure.
This is okay.
Yeah, that's what we kind of said, Lane.
No, it wasn't clear.
Pittsburgh, once again, it's one of the weakest schedules. They beat the Browns, I think them and the Titans are the only winning records that they've seen. Cleveland's played the Bengals twice to get to that point, basically. Their defense is crazy. I love it. Bush going out for the year, I think, is a big thing that kind of weakens them. And I just don't see their offense as there's a lack of weapons there these days. It seems like Roethlisberger. I love the new Canadian there. I just don't think he's
gracious me, the best wide receiving core in the league, and this is coming from a guy whose team has one weapon for his quarterback to deal with. Anyway, continue, Dustin. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Moving on to Baltimore. Air, once again, number 1 defense, or I think the best defense in the league. They just signed, or they just traded for Yannick Ngakoue, and I think they're getting stronger as well. They're blowing out their competition, although, I mean, Lane's going to like this. Lamar did choke in the biggest game of the year. He's got might even be a bigger game coming up this week, and that's going to be a huge thing. So we'll see there. I almost think Baltimore at home beats Pittsburgh this week, although I do think Pittsburgh's a better team. And then I got GB. I'm not gonna. I mean, they're once again they've their margin of victory. They're killing teams. Not saying their schedule's been super difficult here, but that offense is playing really well. They got exposed in Tampa. But I think Green Bay, especially on the NFC, they're really only going to struggle to beat that one team. I don't think I don't even know if I'd put Seattle in 6. They would maybe crack 7. So, how about it, boys? Come at me.
Boomer, can I please go first?
Sorry, what?
Can I please go first?
Oh yeah, I was just listening to the music in my head.
Yeah. Okay, right off the hop, I can let you slide with KC, Pittsburgh, and Baltimore. I can live with it. The fact that you have Tampa Bay at 1 is absolutely ludicrous. They lost to the fucking Chicago Bears, who can't even barely get a fucking first down in games.
Barely
Hold on a
put
sec.
on words there. I see
There's, yeah, exactly. They've played the Raiders, the Bears, the Panthers, and the Packers. And why am I saying the Packers? Well, let's dig a little bit into that one, shall we, Wilson?
So what are you? Oh, you're not saying that's a tough schedule? A lot tougher.
You're saying that is? The Panthers, the Raiders, the Bears? All I know is the Packers so far have played teams with a 15-24 record. If they aren't 5-1, they should be embarrassed that they aren't 5-1. Let's leave that for a second. Let's go back to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay couldn't beat Chicago, got handled by New Orleans, has to go out and pick up more weapons to try and offset the weapons Brady can't utilize, being Mike Evans, because he can't throw a ball deep enough to get to him. Tampa Bay is not even in the conversation yet of being in the top 5. The fact that you don't have Tennessee or Seattle in the top 5 is a fucking travesty. And the Packers, not a top 5. Not yet. I will give you something there. They are close, but without Aaron Jones, he's got one weapon. He's making do with Sternberger and Tonyan. I give you credit there. But Green Bay has played horrible teams. Like I said, if you're not 5-1, you should be embarrassed with yourself. There's no rhyme or reason.
Okay, Lane, just let me. So you're saying the schedule toughness actually has a lot to do with scheduling these
Tampa Bay had the 16th overall strength of schedule this year. That is weak.
Well, it's half.
Pittsburgh had the 30th.
That's fine. And when I get to my Patriot rant, we'll get into that a little more.
Lane.
But to sit there and say that Green Bay is a top 5 team for beating teams they should beat,
smothering teams they should beat, Lane.
Okay.
They're not
they
even
got
allowing
smothered all right against Tampa. They got smothered all right.
That's the one, and that's why I've got Tampa at the top. Tampa handled it. They beat one of the top teams in the league, held one of the top offenses in the league to 10 points. Tampa played an amazing game. I'm giving them a write-off on week 1. It's a new quarterback.
What about week 5 when the Bears beat them?
And that's the one that I sit there and I go, yeah, but I think this team is getting stronger. That's my point, is that as this progresses and as this team starts to play together, that's why I have them at number 1.
Explain to me how Tennessee isn't on that top 5. After being undefeated and losing by a field goal to the clear-cut number 1 power ranking team in the Steelers.
Why do you say clear-cut?
Because they've been absolutely dominant.
You just got done saying that schedule has everything to do with it, and they've had by far the weakest schedule, Lane, and now you just called them number 1?
But they've go into Tennessee and beat that undefeated team after they've manhandled other teams.
Manhandled? They should have lost to the goddamn fucking Broncos.
I'm talking the Titans.
They should have lost to the Broncos.
They didn't, though. They were undefeated.
Did they manhandle them?
Oh, my goodness. Boy. The fact that you don't think Pittsburgh is the best possible team
Lane right doesn't even – he's all over the – come on, let's go.
Okay, let's install a little bit of sanity back to this thing.
Agree with everyone.
And I don't really I could list you my top 5, but you guys would get pretty vanilla than when I got down there to the 5th pick. But at the same time, Lane, you're going to hate me for saying this, but the thing about Tampa, and that it seems to be going unnoticed, is Tampa is in the top 10 for all 3 offensive and defensive categories. They are. No, like, I mean, It is what it is. Tampa would be like borderline top 5 fringe team for me. I will agree with Dustin on the fact that I think they're getting better. I also will agree on the fact that I think that there's going to be some coaching that's going to come down the road, and Brady's going to sit there and go, holy shit, this Bruce Arians guy knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's
going to get crazy.
I feel like Tampa is a better team than maybe their record is. Now, I'm not the guy who's going to sit there in the corner, and Bucko's going to give me shit about this. I'm not the guy that's going to sit there in the corner and say, I don't like basically making a decision on a team based on that one game that they missed.
Agreed.
What I'm gonna say, I don't like supporting Wilson in this sense. That at the fact that yes, at the beginning of the year they were a brand new offense. It was a brand new quarterback. It was a brand new look at everything that they were doing. Tom Brady has a lot of weapons now. He's going to do what he does. At the end of the day, I still can't rank them. And anybody can call me a homer if they want to ahead of Pittsburgh. Because if anybody's watching Pittsburgh play and say that they're not getting better every week, they're fucking nuts. Because Pittsburgh, and you can say what happened
when they lose Bush for the season.
You can say, sure. So they lose their signal caller on defense. Injuries happen. But the funny part about it is they actually played a team who I think is borderline top 5 and made them look ridiculous in the first half, and then did what they always do, put it in cruise control, and made the game way closer than they had to. And they do it every year. That's their offensive coordinator. It seems like that's his style.
That's a problem, Boomer. That is a...
Hey, listen. Like, what did I say to you? I said to you, this is going to happen. You're going to play a team that can beat you. You're going to let them back in, and they're going to lose that game. But at the same time, they haven't yet. So my whole thing is Baltimore, this game this weekend is going to tell them a lot. Baltimore is in my top 5. So is Seattle. In reality, so is Kansas City. So is Green Bay. The reason that Green Bay is there is because Aaron Rodgers is extremely pissed off, and I give him more credit than I think you do. At this point,
not this year. He's playing with the chip on his shoulder this year.
So nobody's going to argue with me. Nobody in this group is going to argue with me that Green Bay has a real serious shot because their paramount player is possibly playing the best football he's played because he is so angry. He doesn't have the weapons, because that's what Lane is going to say. Lane's going to say he doesn't have the weapons. I know he doesn't have the weapons.
No, I'm going to say what I told you the other night in the group chat, and I think you understood what I was saying.
Yes, I picked up on it. But I don't want to talk about what we discussed in the group chat.
Those 4 teams in the West, man, Green Bay does not match up well against any of them.
You know what, though, Lane? Why? I don't give the 49ers near the credit that anybody else does. And I don't.
Green Bay matches up against the Rams because they've got somebody that can protect Rodgers from Aaron Donald having a sack fest. You're going to sit there and tell me you think that?
Not
you, Wilson. Not you, Wilson.
Wait a minute, Lane. Let me say this. I am actually. I'll be shocked. Don't take this the wrong way, Jeff. I'll be shocked if the Rams are in the playoffs at this point, because that division is filthy.
If not all 4 in the playoffs from the West.
That division is filthy. It's going to be a dogfight. I have a hard time believing that they're all going to be there. If you had to pick, hey Lane, if you had to pick a team out of that division that isn't getting in, who's it going to be?
Arizona.
I don't see,
the team
I'm a huge Arizona guy. I love Kyler Murray. Love him.
Well,
but I just don't see Arizona's defense being able to keep him in it.
So, Boomer, you're just really saying it's Pittsburgh at the top and then the rest follows suit with what I kind of said?
I am saying that if you're going to go – I'm saying Pittsburgh's at the top, and people can call me a homer. I really don't give a fuck. It doesn't matter to me at this point. I think it's what Pittsburgh has done because I've watched that many games of what they're doing. Their defense, as funny as it is, as funny as it sounds, they lost Bush. but I still think that they're a top 5 defense in the league.
They are.
Their offense,
But they're
I
getting
feel like
Tampa is the only team
ahead.
that has this combination of a lethal offense and this crazy defense that I didn't even know existed. That's the
Hey, who out of these 4 called that?
And I go,
Who out of these 4?
huh? What?
Who out of you guys called that this year? Who said Tampa was going to be better than anybody gave them credit for?
Yeah, I didn't know that. This is the thing. The defense to me is just this major tipping
I
point.
did.
And I go, wow, if they can shut down some of these big offenses, and then as this offense starts to tick, this team is number 1. And they've had the tougher schedule out of any of these teams. Pittsburgh, Boomer, you're right. They've played good games. They haven't put teams away as well as they should. They've played shit teams. They've played garbage fucking football team.
I don't think Cleveland is a scrub football team. I do not. I think Cleveland is a very formidable team. I think they are in the top 10 of the power rankings. And they are just
Cleveland?
absolutely. Well, they're 5-2, Jeff. They've beaten decent teams.
They could be
and
really
They beat
bad.
the Bengals twice. The
And the
Cincinnati Bengals.
The Bengals, man, believe what you want.
Throw them in the top
No
10 too,
way.
hey, Lane?
No, didn't say they were. But to
No.
sit there and say that they aren't a formidable team, they've looked good at moments. They've played well.
Okay, well, listen to me, Lane. And far be it from me to even state this out of nowhere, but my whole thing is when you put a quarterback like Joe Burrow in any offense, there's going to be flashes of brilliance. I honestly believe that Joe Burrow and Herbert are the next quarterbacks that are going to be the next big. It isn't Baker Mayfield. I'm sorry. It's Joe Burrow and Herbert, because those guys, they show a command of an offense like I haven't seen out of a rookie quarterback in years. So
I need to hear Lane. Yeah.
sorry,
Brad,
but
take us there.
Hey, no, that's good heat, boys. I like that. And I don't have much to say other than Seattle's got to be in your top 5, but whatever.
Seattle's my number 2. So
Yeah.
there you go.
For the record,
Willie
my top
Nelson.
5, Pittsburgh, Kansas City, Baltimore, Seattle, Tennessee. That was my top 5.
I have such a
With
melting.
Green Bay at 6.
Okay.
Okay. Next topic. I guess Laner's been feeling a little deflated lately of the way the Patriots have been treated. On the floor, Laner, what's your problem here with the Pats?
Okay, well, you know, I've taken a lot of chirping over the years. I'm used to it. I'm okay with it. When your team's that good and they win all the time, you got to learn to take it. When they start to suck a little bit, you got to learn to take it even more, because you're going to get it. But for everyone in the last, this is going out to everybody who chirped me in the last week after Sunday. Oh, Patriots are done. They're a joke now. Belichick sucks. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's just put this all into terms that people can understand here. The beginning of the season, you got rid of your franchise dynasty GOAT quarterback. You had to go a completely different direction. You went with Cam Newton. Not the greatest signing. I liked the signing because I knew what he was going to be and what he was going to try and do. Still haven't seen the full Cam Newton yet. I believe it's coming. I believe he got put behind the 8 ball, being listed with COVID and out and sitting at home, couldn't practice, couldn't go through the offense with the team. He's still stale, not a full understanding of what to do in that offense. Give it more time. I think that's going to change. They had the number 1 strength of schedule going into this year. So far, they have played the 2 teams that were in the Super Bowl last year, Kansas City and San Francisco. They did lose to Denver. There's no excusing that loss, absolutely whatsoever. Seattle, they came within a 1-yard touchdown to win that game on the road in Seattle. They've beaten a formidable Miami team who, despite everyone's belief, actually isn't that bad. We're going to have to see how that pans out with Tua taking over now, nonetheless. For everyone that doesn't understand, if you thought New England was coming out of this first 6 games over 500, you have no understanding of what actual football is. I knew that there was going to be a struggle to start. If you look down the stretch, they've got the Jets 3 times. They've got the Bills, I think, 2 or 3 times. Divisional games. They do have Baltimore, which I'm not expecting much from there. Baltimore is a really good team. They've got a couple really tough matchups. This team is not dead. I expected them to come out after 6 games and be 3-3. 2-4 with a bad loss to Denver, I can live with that. But to sit there and say that a team is completely done and has nothing to offer and that they're not even going to make the playoffs, like you're living on planet delusional. You aren't even looking at the stats. You aren't seeing what's there. Cam has played some really good football. He's looked really bad against defenses that knew what was coming. San Fran made him look very bad. But then again, when you don't have the reps, you're not going to show it on the field. Aaron Rodgers, every game, been out there with his boys looking spot on. You give a quarterback that time, and he's been in that offense, he's going to look good. Cam doesn't have that.
Don't you dare compare Cam Newton to Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, I'm just comparing the fact that he's been out there and has been around his offense and actually been able to learn from it.
So you are saying that strength of schedule has made a big impact on where New England's at this year?
So far?
Yeah.
You're high if you think it hasn't. Has Green Bay played Kansas? No. Has Green Bay played Kansas City or San Fran yet?
Lane, can I finish?
Go ahead.
Meanwhile, you sit there and say Pittsburgh's clear-cut top 1 with the easiest schedule up until this date. So
they just beat the only other undefeated team in the league. Wilson.
So I'm just saying, you place strength of schedule at the highest regard in one conversation.
Nope.
And then you completely.
I said it's a factor. I didn't say it was the whole reason. But I'll tell you what, when you go into an undefeated team stadium and you beat them and you make them look very bad doing it in the first 3 quarters of the game, yeah, you deserve to be the number 1 spot because you just beat an undefeated team in their own barn.
Anyway, they barely beat them. But, okay, going on, sticking with the Patriots here. You guys aren't even in these games, Lane. You were competitive with Seattle. Competitive.
You stupid? We're in the games.
Give him a sec. Let him list his points and then go.
Did you even watch the games?
Well, I watched the Chiefs game.
The only game they weren't in was the San Fran game. KC through 3 quarters. KC, they just about beat KC with a backup fucking quarterback, bro. What are you talking about?
I am excited.
They don't have a chance to win these games. They're not putting themselves in a chance to win these games, Lane. KC were in it for 3 quarters. That was just did you actually think they were going to win that game?
For a good stretch there, if Brian Hoyer wasn't a complete loser and knew how to throw a ball on 4th fucking down, yeah, they would have.
Whose fucking fault is that you guys have Brian Hoyer as your quarterback? Cam Newton's no fucking good either. That guy fucking sucks, man. Everyone knew Cam Newton wasn't. What do you think?
Oh my God! Someone told me it's actually got some common sense here because now he's throwing the backup quarterback under the bus because Cam Newton had COVID. That's why they didn't win the game.
Cam Newton, Lane, I'm not
giving you some actual shit here. Come on, Brad, talk to me. I can't handle this shit anymore.
Lane, shut your fucking fat mouth for a second. You sit here and you don't let people talk.
Really? You're going to sit there and say that?
Yes, I am.
Wow. After you just went on a fucking rant about how your top 5 list is so accurate, and I'm sitting here giving you stats, and you're trying to tell me that they weren't in games? Wilson, did you watch the game? Well, you didn't watch the Kansas City game then. You didn't.
I just never thought that they were going to win that game. And they got
blown out, but they were in it.
I do think that they had a tough schedule, and I'm willing to say that. Do I think they're going to make the playoffs? No, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year. I don't think they got the quarterback to do it. I just don't think they got the team. That's taking zero credit away from what they've done in the past. I just sit here and I go, Cam Newton is exactly what we thought he was. He's $1 million quarterback. And that's why no one wanted to sign that guy. You've got him on a high horse. You've had him on a high horse this entire time. You have no backups to bet. Like Hoyer, I agree. He's garbage.
So you're going to tell me through games 1 and 2, when they almost beat Seattle and when he played great against Miami, before he got COVID and wasn't able to practice for 3 weeks, Cam Newton didn't look really good. right?
Cam Newton had a good game against the brutal defenses against Seattle. Seattle does that. They do.
Man, I want to take the floor here.
Take it.
So right from the beginning, and you guys all know this, my biggest aspect for the New England Patriots and what I actually, if I was the guy that was the GM that was in that position, I would not have went after Cam Newton. I would have went after Teddy Bridgewater. Lane, I told you this. You understood why and where I was coming from. I wanted Pittsburgh to sign Teddy Bridgewater if he fell through the cracks.
I would have even taken Jameis Winston over Cam Newton.
Winston would have been another good one.
Perfect. Now we're having a different conversation, and this sounds a lot better. Now, I don't hate on the I can't because I'm a guy that likes to research stuff and I like to see where it's going. Now, New England, funnily enough, it isn't their offense, but their defense is in the top 3 of those same defensive categories that I was referring to earlier when I was making mention of the other teams. I don't like what New England's doing right now. I don't actually, like, Lane, don't take this the wrong way. I don't think they have a quarterback. Whatever Cam Newton has done since coming back from this COVID thing, I don't even know where he can, like, what does he have to build off of for confidence for himself? Other than his ridiculous outfits after the game.
What I'm giving him credit for is I think he's smart enough and Belichick is smart enough to try and right the ship at some point.
Hold on. I never once criticized what Belichick was doing. And I won't. Because regardless of what people say, people want to give Tom Brady all the credit. I've never once said that. Everybody seems to think, well, yeah, it's probably both of them. Okay, fine. Give him a little. I think Belichick is far more a mind for football than anybody gives him credit for. A lot of people forget that he's actually the GM at the same time. But what I don't think is going to happen, if New England sneaks into the playoffs, that's one thing. I don't feel like New England has the weapons to do any damage in the playoff whatsoever. I'm not going to sit here and say that, they've made moves that they can really support what, and you can say that they deserve more respect. That's fine, but there are teams that have beaten teams or teams that have, overcome teams that New England has lost to, and I just have a hard time putting even the 49ers up on that pedestal. I can't get there. Now, what I will say is you see guys, we're all guilty of it, and I probably would be at this stage too, but New England, you're giving them a lot of credit. You're giving the 49ers a lot of credit because they beat New England. Wilson did the same thing, giving a team credit who just beat the Packers. It's something that we do. I understand that. But I don't think New England really has everything to put it all together here to make a big run this year.
Yeah.
San Fran has been demolished by injuries. They're starting to get healthy.
San Fran was also embarrassed by the Eagles, Lane. I can't get over that.
With Nick Mullins.
Not a good team.
With Nick Mullins, Boomer.
That's a tangent, boys.
Listen to me. Nick Mullins is not the hero we asked for. He is the hero we need right now.
Here's the thing. I never said New England was a Super Bowl contender this year.
I never accused you of saying that.
I know
that they deserve more respect. But what I'm saying is I am not in the business of giving teams a whole bunch of respect where, in my point of view, they're going to finish a 500 team.
Now, the other thing is what everyone's forgetting. 7 of their defensive starters, and we're talking 2 or 3 Pro Bowl defensive players, decided to sit out this year.
Lane, I never once discounted their defense.
I understand that. I'm just giving the facts as to why this team that you're seeing is a microcosm of what they could actually be. And that's why I'm saying, given a few games against the Jets to figure some stuff out, this week is a big game for New England. If they can beat Buffalo in that divisional matchup, all bets are off here, you guys. I mean, New England could still easily win that division. And get into the playoffs. And they still could get the 7th wild card. That's why Wilson's saying they're not going to make the playoffs. 9-7 may get you there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, Jeff, if New England wins that game, it is because of coaching, nothing else. So,
Hey, I'm
We'll have
excited
to see how it shakes out.
I'm excited to see how Cam does, and Lane might have a told you so moment down the line here, so I'm going to keep an eye on
I'm excited to see who wins this next swear jar donation because this episode was wild.
Yeah, there's lots in there. I don't think I swore once.
I'm guaranteed I'm in for a couple.
Jeff, you're on for one.
One swear?
You're on for one swear. Now,
Yeah,
start,
yeah, but hey, wow.
start pissing off Jim and Jude a little more down there in the left with your little V-neck button down. Come on.
Top right, aren't I? Okay.
Can we ding Wilson an extra like 5 for calling me fat?
I said, shut your fat mouth.
Fat mouth.
I said, shut your fucking fat mouth.
Well, because you wouldn't.
I didn't catch that.
Going, and you were waiting.
Means your mouth's big.
Hey, I tried to take the floor. Neither of you would let me.
You got the floor, Boomer. Trust me. You got the floor there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, boys.
And I thought I did a lot with it. More than you did. Jesus Christ.
Those are our
Those are some heated discussions, boys.
our Halloween hot topics, we'll call it. Halloween hot topics.
Scary. Ooh.
By the way, I was going to dress up as you, Lane, if I thought of it today.
Well, I could have borrowed you one of my pairs of Under Armour pants. House, you dick.
That was awesome. That was wicked.
Okay,
I liked Brant's. I texted Brant after, inactive wear. He's like, man, I can't even chirp you because like I wear the same thing on the couch on a Saturday. So, yeah, it's a little different, Brant, when it's a Saturday as compared to Monday through Sunday weekly wear. So, yeah.
Who?
So a little local shout out to finish it off. We should, or do you want to talk about our new super fan segment?
I think you need to talk about the fan challenge because at the end of the day, that's something that's going to get
and we're not doing trivia, right? So
No, trivia's going to air on different day.
Trivia will throw out as a mini-sode, so.
Yeah.
Do you want me to explain it?
Giver.
So we're switching things up a little bit. As you can see, we kind of changed the format within this episode.
Yeah, we decided to put more passion into everything.
Well, and that's so. I mean,
Boomer's drinking again, so we're good.
I hope that came out a little bit, and trying to focus on that in these weekly episodes. Meanwhile, some of the other little kind of side segments that we do, like the Stump the Pratt, Stump the Wallace, the trivia, some of that stuff. Going to try to. Well, those are still going to be a part of the show, just not maybe these weekly episodes, and we'll just blast those out on social media throughout the week, along with NFL picks and stuff like that. So it'll be all the same type of content, just spread out throughout the week. So just look forward to it on there. Check out our Twitter and our YouTube channel. It'll all be on there, just a little bit easier to watch some of the smaller quick little sound bites and different segments. The big one that we're excited to announce is we're sort of shifting, and as Pratt said, it's going from Ice Factory to Blackbeard's, is the Ultimate Fan Challenge sponsored by Blackbeard. So what it is, and I mean, we want it to be the true, genuine fans so that we get that kind of feel for it, just not the same guys over and over each week trying to compete. But essentially what we're going to do is we're going to announce a team. And then we're going to take, I mean, we'll gauge how many we're getting on a weekly basis, but I think we're looking for about 8 viewers. And maybe there'll be a cheap seats member or two that partakes if their team gets mentioned. And basically, we're going to come up with some trivia questions directed right within or about that specific team for that week or that segment. And they're going to go head-to-head, bracket style. We're going to get a winner. We're going to announce the ultimate fan of this team. And then I think there's a prize from Blackbeard's that we'll kind of get to, as this whole thing transpires, get to see what that looks like. And yeah, you can get crowned the champ of your team, crowned by the cheap seats, I guess. And so Pratt, I don't know if you want to announce
Well,
what
and
that
to add to that, like we may look at just, hey, like this guy and this guy, we know them. Maybe they're both Detroit Lions fans.
Yeah.
We bring them on, and it's a
Really?
head-to-head battle for that.
You know 2 Detroit Lions fans?
I know one.
I know
know
one.
1, 2 in my life.
But, you know, it doesn't have to be an 8-man bracket. It could be head-to-head. We know some Avs fans. Maybe it's a 4-man Avalanche.
Yeah.
bracket.
That's
So
exactly.
we're gonna play and play with the numbers on that. But our first one we are gonna do, keep track of us on Twitter as to when this is gonna happen. Is gonna be an 8-man Toronto Blue Jay bracket. So we're gonna do.
This is big.
We're gonna do. So it'll be a quarterfinals head-to-head of Toronto Blue Jays trivia. I think we'll probably do maybe a 5-question per match. And we're going to get everyone on Zoom. They're going to have a whiteboard or paper, and they're going to write their answer. We're going to have one of us on the peanut gallery there, either asking questions and someone else chirping, whatever, throwing whatever comments in as the trivia is happening. So I think we're going to start this next week, right?
Yeah.
So how do we want to pick our 8?
What's that?
How do we want to pick our first 8 for the Blue Jays? We're going to reach out on Twitter.
Well, let's just, this is going to be out there, and kind of as these segments roll on, we're going to announce a team. First kind of group to reach out, and as we get people to sign up for this, we'll have to cap it off if there's that much interest, I guess. But so let's start reaching out to, if you know a big Blue Jays fan that you think could win in some trivia, get them to either reach out, whether it's on Twitter. We'll post some information on there so that you know how to either get a hold of us, kind of what you'll need, whether it's like Pratt said, a whiteboard, or you'll need the Zoom app, and then we'll coordinate times and stuff like that. So more information to come. Hopefully you get the gist of it with our little spiel here, but looking forward to it. I know I'll be pounced. We can go in, right? Like if the Packers get called, I'm going.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's fine. And you know, if I get in there and God forbid Dad happens to catch the episode and he wants to go, I'm going to get murdered. But at the same time, I would like to be involved. And I mean, in regards to the Jays one, you know, you guys are going to see probably 3/4 of the Wolves roster jump in there, because we're talking about guys that literally live and die by the Jays. And it made me sick playing for them for years, but it was what it was. So.
Can I lay money down on myself on the Jays one? Is that possible if I'm involved in that, or am I out of that?
I don't know. Let's see how much turnout we have for the
guys. I'll play the chat
before we let you in, buddy.
Okay. Anyways, stay tuned for that. Quick local shout out. I'm gonna sort of quickly
hit it.
We've been running along here. Hockey season's upon us here in Estevan. We got the Estevan Bruins. Just got done a couple preseason games against Weyburn. They waxed them 2 in a row. They just signed Cole Fonstad, local boy, standout dub player. The guy gets 70 points in his sleep in the WHL. So who knows what he's going to do this year. We got him at least till January, I think, till the dub starts. And so that's exciting. They also signed a guy named Quentin Loon Stewartson, who's more than a point per game in the SJ last year. So they are stacked up. They have a hell of a team. And it's only a 6-team division they're playing this year. So they got an easier schedule. They shouldn't lose many games. And that kicks off November 6th weekend. They got a home and home against Melville. I don't know the rules in COVID right now. Hopefully person can go watch and not have to worry, but we'll see.
Honestly, Jeff, at this point, I'm just hoping that it continues. And in reality, I'm serious. I hope that we get to the point where we can get through a season. So.
Yeah. And the Bears are kicked off too. They did their preseason against Notre Dame. That's exciting. AAA midget for Estevan. I don't know when their season kicks off, but right now it's only families and billets allowed to those games. So stay tuned for those games. Hopefully everyone can get out and watch once restrictions are lifted. So other than that, fun show, boys.
Yes. Good show. Honestly, thanks, sponsors. We couldn't do it without you. You know.
Our jar is going to be full this week. Oh, boy.
It is. Yeah. We'll see you on Twitter, everyone. Have a good week.
Cheers.
Cheers.